Okay, good afternoon to everyone. Is my AB is okay? Hello. Good afternoon. Is my AB is okay? Yes, thank you, Abhishek. Let us start today's class. Yesterday we have solved one numerical problem based on your last formula coefficients, that is B11, B12, B22. This problem we have solved it. So today also we will take one more problem which is there in the assignment 2. So this is the problem. Let us take, it has been given in the assignment. So again, first before proceeding, first you understand the problem which has been given, any numerical problem, read carefully first. What has been given, what has been asked for, any numerical problem. So figure below shows a system having two plants 1 and 2. See, this is plant 1, this is your plant 2. Connected to bus 1 and 2. So this is bus 1, bus 2. Plant 2 is connected to bus 2, plant 1 is connected to bus 1 respectively. There are two loads. See, this is load 1 and this is load 2. And a network of 3 branches. Network of 3 branches. That means this is one branch and this is another branch B branch and this is another branch C branch. There are 3 branches. The bus 1 is the reference bus with a voltage of 1 at an angle of 0. This is your reference bus. The voltage at that one will be 1 at an angle of 0 degrees. So that has been given it there. The branch currents and impedances, as we have seen in the previous problem, the branch currents and the corresponding branch impedances will be given. So there are 3 branches. So 3 branch currents. IA is the branch current that is flowing through this branch A. IB is the branch current that is flowing through this branch B. Similarly, IC through IC. Similarly, what is the impedance of this branch or line A? That has been given as ZA. What is the impedance of this line has been given? What is the impedance of this line has been given in the system? So this is the data which has been given. So you have to understand the problem first. Calculate the loss formula coefficients. So here they are not asking you to find the loss transmission losses. So they are asking you to find that loss formula coefficient. That means this loss formula coefficient is a part of your transmission loss. Understood? So just determining this loss formula coefficient is not sufficient to determine the transmission losses. How to determine the total transmission loss? PL is equal to PG transpose into B into PG. This is a matrix form, isn't it? PG transpose PG, in between B is there. That B is your loss formula coefficient. So that B we are trying to identify or we are trying to calculate it here. So here you have to find out those BQ coefficients in per unit and in reciprocal of megawatt. Reciprocal of megawatt means what? It is megawatt inverse. So obviously B coefficient unit is megawatt inverse. So you have to find out these B coefficient values in per unit as well as megawatt inverse if the base MVA is 100 MVA. So this is the problem that has been given, isn't it? So as I have explained yesterday, so first already in the problem only he has identified. So how many plants are there? 2 plants are there. How many loads are there? 2 loads are there, isn't it? So that means what? Just I will draw it here. So this is the transmission network. Okay, this is the transmission network. So this is first load, plant 1. This is plant 1. This is your plant 2. And there are 2 loads are there. Isn't it? One load, first load, second load. So this is first load and the load 2 is there. And this is a transmission network. So in this transmission network, how many transmission lines are there? So there are 3 transmission lines, that is branches A, B, C. That is 3 branches are there. Understood? And what is the current supplied by plant 1 is your I1 that has been given. That is your I1. Isn't it? Plant 1 is supplying current I1. And what is the current supplied by plant 2 is your I2. So is your I2. Is it clear? So this is the data given it. So same thing, when plant 1 alone is supplying the total load current. So first what you have to do, first you find out what is the total load current required. Understood? So that is the first step you have to do it. So given single line diagram, for better understanding, you represent that single line diagram in this fashion. There are 2 plants supplied by currents I1, I2 respectively. There are 3 lines are there in the transmission networks or branches, and there are 2 loads. Understood? So first, before starting, first you find out the load current in first load current for second load. Then you have to add up those two to get the total load current. Is it clear? So how to get this load current for load 1 and load 2? So here, looking into the single line diagram, here you should get it. Looking into this load 1, so we have to calculate it here. Is it clear? So now let us see this one. How to find out the total load current is, as per our notation terminology, it is ID, isn't it? So ID we have represented. So how to get this total current? That is the first step. You have to do it. So let us get that point here. So total load current is equal to, before finding out, so IA, IB, IC, IA, IB, IC, all the branch currents or line currents which has been given, please convert that one into polar form and keep it ready, because that is required for our calculation purpose. Convert these rectangular values of currents only, because impedances we are not using any angles. Don't convert these impedance values. Convert all the currents, branch currents, into polar form and keep it ready. So first I am doing it IB in polar form. Similarly, IC in polar form. Why? This is IB is the current flowing through this branch B, that is nothing but current flowing to the load 1, isn't it? And what is the current flowing through the branch C is IC. Isn't it? Current flowing through the branch C is IC. That itself is your load current L2. That is IL2. This is IL1. This is IL2. Isn't it? So IL1 plus IL2 is your total load current. So that is equal to, what is IL1 is IB, the same current. What is the load current through load 2? It is IC. Isn't it? So therefore, load current is equal to IB plus IC. Isn't it? So ID is equal to IB plus IC here in this case. Hope you understood. So what is the load current here and here? These two things you have to add. So what is the current flowing to this load is this branch current, that is IB. And what is the load current that is flowing to the load 2 is this branch current IC. So IB plus IC is your total load current. This is the first step you have to do before applying our case 1 and case 2. So that is equal to, what is IB is this value 1.6 minus j.4, 1.8 minus j.45. So for addition, the values should be in rectangular form. For multiplication division, the values must be in polar form. Is it clear? So now add it. So you are going to get this equation. So this is the value you are going to get. 3.4 minus j.85. This is the total current in rectangular form, or in polar form it is 3.5046 at an angle of minus 14.0362. Is it clear? So this is the total current, we got it to the load 1 and load 2. Now what you have to do, you take a case 1, case 2. What is case 1? When case 1 plant alone is supplying the load. Understood? So that means what? Here I will take, that means this plant 2 is not supplying any load current. So this plant 1 alone is supplying the total load current. So in such case, I1 is equal to ID. In such case, when plant 1 itself is supplying the load current, so therefore I1 is equal to your ID, total ID, isn't it? So this is case 1. So under this case, when the plant 1 alone is supplying this total load current, you find out the current distribution factor in all these three lines. You find out the current distribution in all these three lines. So what are the three lines or branches? A, B, C. So what are the current distribution for these three branches? MA1, MA1, suffix 1 indicates plant 1 is operating. MA1, MC1, MB1. You have to calculate it. MA1, MB1, MC1, you have to calculate it. So that is case 1. Case 2, when case 2 is when plant 2 not getting the pointer. I'm not getting the line here, so let me try. Okay. So when plant 2 alone is connected here, connected to this load. So plant 1 is not supplying any current. So I1 is 0 here. I1 is 0 in this case. Earlier case I2 was 0. Now this alone. So that means what? I2 is equal to total load current I1 plus I2. That is nothing but your ID, isn't it? So under this condition, find out the current distribution factor for these three branches. That is MA2. Suffix 2 indicates only plant 2 is operating. MC2 and MB2. So this is what you have to do it now. Is it clear? So that we will see it in the next slide here. Okay, first let me clear all this. Okay, fine. Now here, so that's what we have to do it now. Current distribution factors when plant 1 alone is operating and plant 2 alone is operating it. So first let us take when plant alone is supplying the load current MB1. First you find out, so before starting any branches, first you find out the current distribution of the loads, the branches which are connected to the load, the branches which are connected to the load. So those branches, for those branches you find out the current distribution factor first. So for branch B is connected to load. So what is the current distribution factor for B? It is MB1. 1 indicates plant 1 alone is operating, plant 2 is not supplying. So therefore I2 is 0 in this case. Clear? I2 is 0. So MB1 is equal to what? MB1 is equal to that corresponding branch current divided by the total load current, divided by this total load current. In the previous slide I have shown what is the total load current. So what is the branch current for MB1? This branch current IB has been given in the problem. So that I am doing it, representing it in rectangular form here, IB. This value has been given in rectangular form in the problem. I converted that branch current IB into polar form, I substituted. And ID we have calculated just now. That value I am substituting it. So the resultant will be 0.4076. Remember, the current distribution values, distribution factor values are real values always. I have explained while explaining the theory, the reason why they are real values. Always these current distribution factor values are real values. So 0.4706 is your MB1 in this branch. Similarly, we have another load. So find out the branch which is connected to this load, the corresponding current distribution factor, that is MC1. So I am going to write MC1. So MC1 is equal to what? Based on the same formula, IC divided by total load current, isn't it? So IC divided by total load current. Here you can see IC is the corresponding branch current which has been given in the problem, which has given total load current just now we have calculated. So substitute IC ID like how I shown it for IB ID here, solve it, so you will get the value of 0.5294. 0.5294. Understood? So for one sample, I will show you the clear step of substitution. For the others, you have to follow the same procedure to get this one. Understood? So 0.5294. So we got the current distribution factor for two branches B and C. Now we should get the current distribution factor for A, branch A. So how to get this current distribution factor A? That is MA1. MA1, we have to get it. So this branch is not connected to any load. For the branches which are connected to the load, this is the procedure you have to follow it, isn't it? So, but what is the value of current distribution? Current gets divided, also current distribution factor also gets divided. So this I1, you see I1 is a portion of I1 will be flowing through this A and through this B. Now here arbitrarily, so I am assuming the current direction in this branch will be like this. The current that is flowing in this direction, I am assuming it. The current in branch A, I am assuming it this direction. If it is not given, if it is specified, you can take that specified directions. So what is the direction of current in this one? Downwards. Here also downwards, isn't it? So let me mention those things also here. So this is also in this direction. This is also in this direction. Okay, fine. This is what we got it. Now how to get MA1? See, I1 current, a portion will be flowing through this A and a portion will be flowing through this B, like your KCL, isn't it? So this, similarly the current distribution factor. So this value you know it, this value you know it, and this value is the total current which gets divided in these two branches. So in terms of current distribution factors, what is the total current we have taken? It should be 1, isn't it? So for that one, so MA1 is equal to I1 by ID, isn't it? So what is I1? Okay, for your purpose, so I am going to give this I1 value. What is I1? So it is 1 only, because I1 supplies the total load current, isn't it? I1, when plant 1 alone is acting, this will supply the total current, total load current here. So I2 is 0. So what is I1 is equal to ID? I1 is equal to ID. So when you substitute that one I1 to ID, so it gets cancelled, the value will be 1. The value will be 1, isn't it? So the value will be 1, you are going to get it. That is I1 is 1. I1 is 1. A portion will be flowing through this one. So what is MB1? 0.476. So 1 minus 0.4706. So 1 minus that you have to substitute it. That will be your MA1. For load branches, you do the calculations like this. For other branches, no need to substitute the values where you will be wasting the time. So directly you can consider by applying KCL. So you see this one you know, MB1 you know, and this you know, this will be obviously 1, isn't it? This will be 1. So 1 minus of this one, 1 minus of, that means 1 is the distribution factor for this plant 1 minus 0.4706. Have you understood this point? And I am representing it minus. Why? Because my assumed direction is in opposition. My assumed direction is this opposition. So that's why I'm representing it minus sign. Understood? So actually plant 1 alone is operating. What is the current direction? Will be in this direction. In this direction. Isn't it? But if you see my assumed direction, it is opposite. So that's why I've taken negative sign here. Previous problem also I have explained the same thing. Clear? Now you got MA1, MB1, MC1 when plant alone is operating. Similarly, when plant 2 alone is supplying, that means when plant 2 alone is supplying, what about I1 is 0? I1 is 0. Understood? And this load current remains the same irrespective of the plant operation of the plant. That means the MB1 and MC1 remains the same, even plant 1 or plant 2, whatever it is. Please keep it in mind. The branches which are connected to the load directly, the current distribution of such branches will remain same irrespective of the operation of the plants. So now even plant 2 also operating alone. So B and C, that is MB1, MC1 remains same. Clear? So that I will show it to you here. So MB1, instead of MB1, because plant 2 is operating, I will write MB2 and MC2. 2 indicates plant 2 alone is operating. So what are the values? It is same as that one of previous one. Directly you can write it. Understood? Now what is MA1? What is MA1? Can anyone tell? What is, sorry, MA2? MA2. Can anyone tell? MA2. See, current distribution factor when plant 2 alone is acting, for B, C, it is same, but for A, we have to find out. Now, what is MA2 value? Yeah, I'm getting the answers. Let me check. Sushumna has given the answer. Others? What is MA2 value? Shanti Prasad has given. What is MA2? Simple, like how the concept I have explained it. Same thing you can apply it here. When plant 2 alone is operating, so the plant 2 current, that is I2, is equal to sum of this load current. That is I2, when you use this ratio, I2 by ID gets cancelled. So I2 will be 1. I2 will be 1. That is current distribution factor here in this segment will be 1. And yes, somebody are also, I'm getting it. Tushar has given. Okay, now you see the answer is 0.40706. So please don't, use some 4 decimal points here. So how? Because this is 1, I2 is 1, isn't it? And a portion of this 1 current distribution will be flowing through C, that is 0.5294. So 1 minus 0.5294, that will be the remaining thing which is flowing through this MA2, that is 1 minus 0.5294, that is equal to 0.4706. Hope you understood this one. How to find out the current distribution factors? First you find out for the branches which has been connected to the loads. Then you find out the remaining branches just by using this equation, not by substituting. You can substitute, you will get the same answer, but you are wasting a time here. So these are the values current distribution. So next step. So first you find out the load current. Second step is determine the current distribution factors. Third one is determine the voltages at buses. Determine the voltages at buses. Now you see at bus 1 is reference bus, it has been given V1 is equal to 1 at an angle of 0 degrees. Now V2, what is the voltage at V2 is equal to? We know this voltage plus the drop across this one, isn't it? So the voltage at this point plus the drop across this one will be your V2, because we have taken the assumed current direction like this. So therefore V2 is equal to drop across this one plus V1. Understood? So therefore that is equal to V2 is equal to V1 plus the drop across this one is IA into ZA. IA into ZA, like your KCL. So V1, sorry, KVL. So IA into ZA. V1 is 1 and IA is given in the problem, that is 2 minus J.5. In the problem it has been given branch current and the corresponding branch impedance has been given ZA 0.06 plus J 0.24. Solve this one. that is calculated. So we will get 1.319 at an angle of 20 degrees. So this is third step, determine the voltages at all buses. So V1 is reference, only two buses are there. So V1 is reference, so find out V2 just by using your basics, because this is our assumed direction. So you got 1.319 at an angle of 20 degrees. Next, what you have to do? Phase angles you have to find out. What are the phase angles? One is current phase angle, the other one is power factor angles. So what are the current phase angles at the plants? That means what is the current phase angle of I1 and what is the current phase angle of your I2? That you have to find out. Now what is I1 is equal to? What is I1 is equal to? Apply KCL. What is I1 is equal to? IB minus IA, isn't it? This is at this point, IA1 is entering, IA is also entering, and IB is outgoing. Incoming is equal to outgoing. Applying KCL at this point, so we'll get I1 is equal to IB minus IA. Similarly, what is I2 is equal to? Apply KCL, I2 is equal to IA plus IC as per the assumed direction. IA plus IC. Just simple basics, KCL we are applying at bus 1 and bus 2, and we are writing the equation, and we are trying to get I1 and I2, because we want what is the angle of I1, what is the angle of I2. That is your sigma 1 and sigma 2 or your current phase angles. So that is equal to, when you substitute it here, so you are going to get these values. Understood? So it will be 166 degrees, you are going to get sigma 1. That means substitute IB, the value given in the problem, minus IA, the value given in the problem. So simplify that one. So you will get some value in rectangular form or polar form. I think in rectangular form only you will get. Convert that rectangular into polar form. Whatever the angle you are getting, this is your angle sigma 1, 166. Forget about this one. So because this step 0.1 by 0.4 is nothing but imaginary value by real value. So what is the resultant I1? Can anyone tell I1 from this relation? It is nothing but minus 0.4 plus j 0.1. You will get it. So it will be 166 degrees. Or directly substitute IB, IA from the given. You will get the resultant value as a rectangular. Convert that one into polar form, and whatever the angle you are getting, that is your sigma 1. It is 166 degrees. Similarly, I2. I2 is equal to, same procedure you follow it. You will get the value, resultant value in rectangular. Convert that one into polar form. So the angle whatever you are getting is minus 14 degrees. That means the I2 is my imaginary value by real value, isn't it? 3.8 minus j 0.95. I2 is 3.8 minus 0.95. We are interested in the angle of this rectangular value. So that's why I am using a tan inverse of imaginary coefficient by real value. That's what we are doing it. Hope you have understood. Sigma 1, sigma 2 are the phase angles of your plant currents I1 and plant current I2. So you got sigma 1, sigma 2. So what is cos of sigma 1 minus sigma 2? Is minus 1. Substitute these values here, sigma 1 and sigma 2. So cos of that one, so it will be minus 1. Okay. Next, power factor angles. Power factor angles. So how to get this power factor? Cos phi 1 and cos phi 2 we have to get it. Cos phi 1, cos phi 2 we have to get it. So for that one, I have explained this one. Cos of power factor cos phi 1 is equal to cos of this angle, that is voltage angle. What is the voltage angle we are having it? So that is voltage angle. V1 is 0, isn't it? I have given it expression, just I will try to write it here. So what is the power factor angle? The power factor angle is delta I minus phi I, isn't it? This is the equation we have used it. Earlier I have explained it. Delta I is the voltage angle of your voltages, bus voltages. Phi is the load angle. So for first one, for cos phi 1, this one will be delta 1 minus phi 1. Delta 1 is the voltage angle at bus 1. What is the angle? 0. So it will be 0, isn't it? Minus, what is phi 1? Load angle. What is the load angle we got? 166. So 166. So just it will be, the value will be minus 0.97 you are going to get. For this one, power factor 2, that is cos of that resultant angle. So will be your power factor cos phi 1. Understood? So this is nothing but your cos phi 1. Cos phi 1. Okay, now cos phi 2. Can anyone tell cos phi 2? What is the value of cos phi 2 from this explanation? Cos phi 2 using this relation. This is the angle, resultant angle we are getting it. So cos of this resultant angle will be your power factor. So I am getting the answer. Sushumna 0.9. Okay, she has given some answer. Abhishek has given. Any others? What is the cos phi 2 now? Same thing. So cos phi 2 is equal to 0.829. This is a mistake. I think you have given, Sushumna and Abhishek, you have given the values. Isn't it? Wrong values. 0.97 you have given. You see, this is 0.829 is the right answer. How? I will show it to you. The general is delta I minus phi I. For plant 2, what is I? Is delta 2 minus phi 2 minus phi 2. Okay. What is delta 2? Is the voltage phase angle at bus 2. So what is the voltage phase angle at bus 2? It is 20. So that I am writing it is 20 minus phi 2. What is phi 2? It is the load angle. So that means here phi 2 is nothing but your load angle, isn't it? That one. So what is the load angle you are getting it? Minus 14. So it becomes plus 14. Because minus of minus becomes plus 14. So 20 plus 14 is 34. Cos of 34 is your 0.829. Is it okay, the value? You check cos of 34. Is it 0.829 is right? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Shanti Prasad. Okay. So this is the right answer. I think I don't know how you have done a mistake here. Now with this one, it is clear for you. Delta is voltage phase angle. Phi is your load angle. Load angle means your sigma 1 and sigma 2. Understood? Use this relation. So you will get the resultant angle. Cos of that resultant angle will be your cos 1, phi 1, cos phi 2. That is plant power factor. That is, what is the power factor at plant 1? What is the power factor at plant 2? This is what we are calculating. And what is the power factor at load 1? What is the power factor at load 2? That is sigma 1 and sigma 2. Remember these things. Okay, fine. Now we got these things. Now let me clear up all these things. Okay. Next, find out the last coefficients. B11, this is the formula we have derived, isn't it? B11 is equal to, this is the formula we have derived it. And only the thing is, here it will vary. What is P? What is the number of P? P means number of lines or number of branches. As per our example, there are 3 branches are there. What are those? A, B, C. Understood? So instead of P, you replace it A, B, C and add all those because it is a summation, isn't it? So you have to add this square product. We have to add square of this product for each branch. So that I am giving it here. Only this term. Only this term I am writing it. MP1 square RP square is equal to. For branch A, it is MA1 square into RA. For branch B, MB1 square into RB. For branch C, MC1 square into RC. 3 branches are there. That's all. Now RA, RB, RC are the resistances of line A, line B, line C, or branch A, branch B, branch C. From where we get impedance values has been given in the problem. Impedances values of the lines or branches has been given in the problem. From those impedance, you will get the resistance values, isn't it? RA, RB, RC. So I like how I explained in the yesterday's class. So same way you are going to get it. MA1, MB1, MC1, you have already calculated. Substitute those things here. So this portion will be this one. So that means what? This numerator will be this term divided by V1. What is V1? 1 per unit we have taken. And cos phi 1, just now we have calculated minus 0.97. Cos phi 1 is minus 0.97. So substitute those values. Substitute those values. That's all. So RA1 is 0.06 RA into what is MA1? 0.5294 square. Minus sign is there. That's why I have not shown minus sign here. Then RB is 0.03, RC is also 0.03, so that's why I've taken common outside here. Otherwise, you substitute it independently. And MB1 is 0.4706 square, MC1 is 0.5294 square. Substitute those values. And V1 is 1 anyway. Cos phi 1 is minus 0.97 whole square. Substitute the values which we have calculated. So when you simplify this one, so what is the value? Can anyone tell? What is the value? What is the value? Are you trying? Okay, some answer is popped up. Okay, Shanti Prasad has given the answer. Oh, let us not wait what he has given. Okay, others also I am getting it. Okay, location also given. Both have given. Abhishek has given. So almost you people have given 0.03387 like that. You have given it. So that is the answer. That is the right answer in per unit. The values what we are getting is in per unit. Understood? Now also they asked the loss coefficients in per unit as well as reciprocal of megawatt. Reciprocal of megawatt means megawatt inverse. How to get megawatt inverse? Just divide this per unit value by the base MVA. What is the base MVA given? 100 MVA. You will get the value in megawatt inverse. That I have given it at the end. I will show it to you. Now next, B12. This is the formula we have derived. All these things, cos of sigma 1 minus sigma 2, we are having the value V1, V2, magnitude of V1, V2 is there, cos phi 1, cos phi 2 we have determined, only thing is this one. So this term can be represented as MA1, MA2, RA, first term, because this is sum, plus MA2, sorry, for branch B, okay, some mistake has happened, I think it is not visible here, the other terms is going out of the screen. Let me get that one inside. Also here there is a correction. Okay. Yeah. Now you see this bracketed term is represented by MA1 because it is plant 1, plant 2. MA1, MA2, RA, MB1, MB2, RB, MC1, MC2, RC because ABC are our branches. MA1, MA2, all these values are available, and just now I explained from where we get RA, RB, RC from the given value of impedances. So substitute all the values. So just I am substituting, just you calculate it. So this is the value you are getting it. Substitute these values. Cos of sigma 1 minus sigma 2. So what is the value of cos of sigma 1 minus sigma 2 is minus 1 we got. This is minus 1. The whole of this one. The whole of this one. Understood? So that I have represented here. So just calculate it. Now you see MA1 is negative sign. So that I am taking it. Minus 0.5294 is MA1. MA2 is 0.4706. RA is 0.06. So that I am doing it here. So substitute the values. These values substitute it and put it here. And numerator V1 magnitude is 1. V2 magnitude is 1.319. Cos phi 1 is 0.97 with negative sign. Cos phi 2 is 0.829. So simplify that one. So this is the answer. You should get it. Here why I have taken square means RB and RC are same values 0.03. That's why RC I have taken it outside. Then substituting MB1, MB2, MC1, MC2 because MB1, MB2 has got the same value. So that's why I squared it instead of supplying 0.4706 into 0.4706, just a 0.4706 squared. Here also MC1 is equal to MC2. MC1 is equal to MC2 because these are load branches. Understood? So if they are load branches, then there is no difference between 1 and 2. So it is MC1 is equal to MC2. So therefore it is, if you write MC1, it becomes MC1 square. So or MC2 square. So it will be 0.5294 square. That's why I represented square, and this is the value you are going to get it in per unit. Obviously, in megawatt inverse, so divided by 100 MVA, which has been given in the problem 100 MVA. So you will get it in megawatt inverse. The final one. So just you try it, you tell me the value. The final one, that is B22. This is the problem, sorry, formula. Just find out the value. Okay, it's time up already. Okay, now let me only complete. So MP2 square RP means MA2 RA, MB2 RA, MC2 RA. P is where it, P is equal to A, B, C. Sum it up, A, B, C. Substitute this one, V2 magnitude you know, cos phi 2 you know. Substitute those values. Okay, substitute those values. So you are going to get this value 0.0237 per unit. 0.0237 per unit. So we have determined that B12 is equal to B21. B12 is equal because two plants. So obviously B coefficients will be 2 cross 2. If it is 3 plants, B coefficients will be 3 cross 3. Please remember. So because it is a 2 plants, so B coefficient will be 2 cross 2. So B11, B22 diagonal elements. Off diagonal elements will be B12 is equal to B21. So B12 we have determined there already. So this is B22 in per unit. Now how to get megawatt values? These are your megawatt values for a base of 100 MVA. All the per unit values divided by 100. So this is the values represented in megawatt inverse, the loss coefficients. Hope you understood this one. So any doubts are there, you can put it in a chat box or otherwise. So thank you one and all. Take care. Bye. Okay, I think you don't have any doubts. I am going to end the class.